Hello, everyone, and welcome to round 2 of the Collegiate Chess League. This is the University of Asia Pacific versus Wilfrid Laurier University. So I see a match has started, so I'm going to switch over to check out their games. Excited to see this. This is a Division 5 matchup. I actually haven't seen the Asia Pacific University play yet. This is their first season in the league. It's also the first season for Wilfrid Laurier, but I believe we watched them play before last week. So this is the first time we're seeing Asia Pacific though. And I'm looking at some noobs here from Canada versus Dynamic. Some noobs is the top board from Wilfrid Laurier. Aviel Avshalomov. I love that alliteration in their name. And they're playing against Dynamic, who is Jason Hong Shu Jun. So we have an interesting game here. It looks like White's doing pretty good with these pawns in the center. Kicked out this knight here, but this knight's on a good outpost for now. This knight has to move before the knight can get kicked, and you don't really want to touch the f-pawn, especially without the knight here guarding these dark squares, because then the queen could come in. You could see a very classic sacrifice on g3. So instead, White attacks the knight this way, not really threatening to take this, because after pawn takes, that opens up the d file and kicks the knight as one of the defenders of these two pawns. Here we have the bishop coming out, and now the knight and the bishop work really well together to attack the dark squares here, putting the king in check. So I think some noobs should probably win this one. If you look at the rating, they have about 900 rating points in advantage, which is pretty good. So I suspect that they should be able to win. We do have some other games though. I see here we have Bilo versus Dynasty Chess. So Bilo is Brian Lawrence playing against Sharam Nagarajan. And it looks like Asia Pacific has two siblings on board 2 and 3, which is really cool. We have Sharam and Shiraj. I don't see Sriraj's game. They should be playing against Het Patel, the board 2 from Wilfrid. I haven't seen them yet, so we'll keep an eye out for that. Looks like Brian's got a great position here, by the way. Every piece is kind of on the optimal square where you would want it. This is an isolated pawn, a classic weakness. Sometimes isolated pawn can be a strength, and the way that you can know if it's a strength or a weakness is based off who controls the square in front of the pawn. And here clearly White has a very nice grip over d4 with the queen right there. So a good way for Black to try to push this pawn would be to control d4 themselves. So d4 is a dark square, and so this light square bishop could never really control or support this pawn push. This knight, on the other hand, can, and so the knight would be really well placed somewhere like c6. But that's going to be hard for the knight to get to. Here we have White maneuvering their knight. Where is this knight going? Well, if this pawn pushes, first off, we could take that. But also that really weakens the b4 square. So I think this pawn's going to stay here in anticipation of the knight going here. However, the knight could also go this way and attack this way. And it actually looks like knight f4 is just a really strong move for White. And it looks like that's the plan. We do have a game here between Bobby Benoit. Not sure how the right pronunciation of that would be. I don't know if they're like French Canadian or just like normal Canadian. I don't know. But Benoit Bobby is playing against Hakeem, and Hakeem is the leader of the Asia Pacific University. So that's really cool. They're also the board one. But fun fact, Hakeem is also a streamer, and I believe Hakeem is live right now. So maybe after this stream, if he's still live, we can rate him. Maybe we could even hop on a call and interview them, depending, but we shall see. Okay, and I do see that fourth game here. We have Sriraj versus Het Patel. And how's this looking? Oh, this rating matchup is actually pretty close. White seems to be up in exchange, so that's good for white. Black is trying to create a connect 4 with their pawns. They really want to damage white's kingside pawn structure. They want this G pawn to flinch, and they want to come in for the kill. So, yeah, interesting position actually. White up the material, but black really focusing their energy on the king side here. Both of these rooks kind of off in the corner, and so we have rook to b3, and yeah, immediately f3. And actually, I wonder if you can leave the knight here. You could also bring the knight back, of course, save it, but threaten to sacrifice. I'm just looking at pawn takes, queen takes, and how exactly do you stop that? I don't know, but it seems that the knight is gambited. I don't think you can take though, because queen check and mate looks pretty good. So yeah, I mean, white up on paper, but black's got these tactics. Black's got the moves. They're bringing the queen in. The king steps up, and now there's queen d6. That's a check. Always look at check. There's also queen c7. There's also saving the knight. I'm not too thrilled about knight here. That's fianchettoed because the knight could have maybe gone here. He threatened some things, maybe. So queen's offering a trade, and there goes the queen. That's a threat. That's a mate in 2 threat. So this pawn needs to be defended. Yeah, rook b2. And now, if the knight was here, see, that would come with check with the pen. So now instead the knight has to go this way. Still strong though. I mean, yeah, white has to find some counterplay, and so they're attacking the king, the knight. But yeah, I love this. Queen's coming back to the defense. This king is feeling a lot safer now with the queen by his side. You love to see it. Yeah, rook b7. So white has successfully defended. I think the knight on g7 was not as good as, say, the knight on f6. Yeah. So now white's got this, and I think that the king is safe enough that this extra pawn on the a file can really start to run and make a huge impact on this game. This could be a future queen right here. Let's go back. Let's check on some of the other games here. Both players low on time, both under a minute. Knight to c5, pressure here. The knight is captured. That knight was deemed intolerable. And I'm wondering, okay, well, this is hit, and that comes with tempo, so probably we should move the bishop away. Either we take and then retreat the queen, or we retreat the bishop, and then we have to deal with the discovery. There's also now a fork. I thought the bishop would drop back further. And yeah, sometimes this knight hasn't developed yet, and this rook is hanging, or like this bishop's still here, and nothing's defending this. So you don't have to worry about this kind of stuff. But this rook is defended, so once the A file opens, the queen has to leave. And now I guess the threat is maybe like taking twice here or something. I don't know. But yeah, both players less than 20 seconds now, and it seems that some noobs should be doing just fine. This is hit, that's a hit. Queen to back, you have to defend that. Take this, maybe give that up. No, the knight's hanging here. And now what? Okay, pawn push. Rook here. I think maybe like rook here is fine. No. Going here, attacking that. That, attacking, defending. 10 seconds. Bishop tucks back. But yeah, some noobs should win this. They're up a knight, which is pretty good. A knight for a pawn. White does have an outside pass pawn. I don't see it coming in handy that much when you're down a piece. 5 seconds. 4, 3. Trade of queens also doesn't bode well for dynamic. Oh, we have some results. So Hakeem won, which is understandable. The board 1 versus the board 4. We also have Dynasty Chess with the win. So that's also the board 2 for Asia Pacific. We have 2 games left, the top 2 boards from Wilfred. B3 is attacked twice. Rook takes and defends this. So that doesn't bode well for Dynamic, who only has 5 seconds now. So they trade all these pawns, trading rooks, not trading rooks. Attacking the bishop, saving the bishop, centralizing the bishop. So let's see, can black put the extra knight to good use? Okay, knight's moving in, bishop's attacking, knight's attacking, rook's attacking. That's a pen, but it's not because the bishop's defended. The bishop's defending the... Oh, but that was a big blunder from some noobs. Oh my goodness. Now some noobs is down in exchange. But there's a tricky knight afoot. But yeah, the knight blocked the bishop. The knight blocked the bishop. So the question is, can Dynamic convert the exchange? They've just dropped a pawn. So that doesn't bode well. That's a fork threat. Gotta watch out for that. Should probably push that anyways. There's a check here. No. I would push this pawn. I would push this pawn. Just looks like a good move to me. Go here, yeah. Push. Oh, interesting. Oh. Okay, so this pawn is pinned. So that's interesting. Maybe could have gone here. Push this guy in. No. Here, check. Here, no. Here, you lose that. Oh. There goes that. So I think that this is holdable for black. I don't see how white makes progress anymore. What's up, Rohirrim? I just lost whatever happened on this board. Something happened over there that I missed. Who was I following? I believe that must have been Thoraj versus Het Patel, star. Which is unfortunate. I would like to know what happened in that game, but I've lost it. Hello, Conrads. How are you? Whoa, did we just lose a rook? Did we get forked? Oh my goodness. The tricky knight strikes again. Alright, well, black should win this one. Down 2 pawns and a knight. Some noobs getting lucky. That board 1 versus board 4 matchup. I mean, they blundered that rook, and they just fought on with a tricky knight. So, my goodness. Okay. And then that game also just disappeared. So, some noobs with the point, and I have no idea what happened between Star and Thoraj. So, yeah. When one of their next games pops up, I will see their history and update the scoreboard. But for now, we're gonna be waiting in suspense. Okay, here's Thoraj. How'd you do? Thoraj beat Star, so that is an upset and a lead, a 3-1 lead for Asia Pacific. Nice. So, let's see. So Star lost their first game, and they're the rating favorite. So they're gonna look to get some revenge here, get some points back against Dynamic, the bottom board from Asia, the only player from Asia Pacific that did not get a win. Yeah, it is bright and early for me. I don't know what time it is for Asia Pacific. I'm assuming it is like 10:20 a.m. for Canada. I'm assuming they're pretty East Coast. There's a pawn, but it's recapturing a pawn that was lost. Yeah. What time is it where you are? How early is it or late? I'm assuming it's not even morning for Asia Pacific. Maybe it's pretty late for them actually. I have no idea. I assume they're like the opposite side of the world. They're in Malaysia. I know that much. But yeah, these 10 a.m. Eastern, it's early for me because I'm on Pacific time zone, but not Asia Pacific. It's 11 p.m. 11 p.m. That's pretty. That's not that bad, right? Ugh. Oh man. Yeah, but what's unfortunate for them though is like any arena for like the weekly prize arena is like Pacific time, so then they would have to stay up another 3 hours. So it'd be like 2 in the morning for them. Some people stay up that late. These nerds playing chess on a Friday night. Yeah. They rescheduled this match, so if anyone's watching that like is normally playing, that's like, oh my god, am I missing my match right now? Don't worry about it. They rescheduled. Luckily, I guess for Asia Pacific, the Canadian team was able to play Friday morning. So I guess none of them have class. Or they are playing in class. We've all seen that happen. You know, you're in lecture, you open up your laptop, you think they're taking notes, but no. Collegiate Chess League. Classic. I like white. White's got the bishops working. Black has like no pieces developed. Also, I thought queen d4 was a good idea, but then black has knight f5, threatening mate here. The knight not only attacking the queen, but defending the mate, of course. So now, see, so this is an isolated pawn, right? But white has the advantage because they have the control over the pawn or the square in front. White has the option to push this pawn and to push with tempo. Now, if the pawn pushes, that might be as far as that pawn goes, but who knows? They can take on b6 and then maybe take. Oh, that was a free queen, by the way. I was so worried about this, but yeah, the queen didn't have that many places to go. If you go here, that's a fork, so that's not great. If you go here, that's a fork, so that's also not great. Probably you should have gone back to d8 would be my guess. Yeah, but that was definitely not it. That might have been a mouse slip for g6. So that was unfortunate. And that's a free rook, by the way. Ooh, taking the bishop. I mean, that temporarily saves this, and that also weakens this square so that we can push. Because as it stands right now, this pawn's going to be lost. But still, I mean, a free rook is a free rook. Sleepy Joe missing free. Dude, I'm a tired Joe right now. I agree. But I would have seen the queen. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. I was just explaining the pawn situation with pushing it. Okay, there's a checkmate threat here. That looks pretty juicy. I don't see how you stop it. There's also queen here with like a fork. I'm assuming like if pawn push, queen takes, rook block to save mate. You could probably also move the bishop somewhere. Queen g4. Oh yeah, you're right. That's also a good one. You see the tactics. So yeah, it looks like star after dropping the first game to Thoraj. They should be able to get a point back for Wilfred. Speaking of Thoraj, they're now playing against some noobs. So Thoraj beat the board 2. Now they're up against the bigger, stronger board 1. Aviel with the beautiful name alliteration. Okay, so let's see here. Thoraj trying to kick out that queen. We have a bishop versus a knight. Thoraj is up an outside pawn. A6. Completely all on its own. I mean, it has the queen support, but yeah, I wonder if black can start pushing that pawn somehow. Okay, so we have the knight attacking the queen. Yeah. So Thoraj is playing well. They have the advantage here against the top board. That would be huge points for Asia Pacific. Do I see the tactic? Probably missed that one. No one at my school believes I play Logic. That's funny right here. Yeah, you'll have to like maybe find a clip or something. Okay, so what's going on? We have round 2 happening. Ooh, that's a free piece. That was not the move from Bobby Benoit. Oh, forcing the queens off. And just taking this guy. Take that guy, take this guy. Here, take, and yeah, just promoting. So dynasty chess with the big point. Let's see. Can we find the checkmate? We're gonna ladder this out. Mate in 2. Game over. So Star and Dynasty 1. So Dynasty, the board 2 from Asia Pacific. Star, the board 2 from Wilfred. So the board 2s get a couple of points. Let's check in with Hakeem. Hakeem's got a decent time advantage. Up a minute. Also up a knight, but down a pawn, but up a knight. So stopping the pawn in its tracks. The knight's kicked, but I think the knight wanted to go here anyways. And I guess white wants to go here. Attack this guy. Just putting pressure on pawns. Okay, probably here. There's also this and that. Perhaps not. Couple options. Does the knight want to go on the king side or the queen side? Hakeem has options here. And it's always nice to have options. So yeah, Asia Pacific, they came to play. They ain't messing around. They're doing well. Especially if you can beat some noobs here. So let's see. Looks like, I mean, white is attacking. They're bringing the heat. Imagine you play knight h8. That'd be so sad. But knight e7 is an option. That attacks the bishop. If rook takes, then black takes. That's called a trade. And black is up a pawn, so trades are good. Hard to see this, though. I'm not going to lie. That's not a natural move by any means, to throw a piece under the bus like that. So here we have a sacrifice, h5. I think we should take that, in my personal opinion. That's what I would do, at least. I like taking things. It's a pawn. Take it. Give me that pawn. Probably then. Okay, not even taking it. Saying I'm just gonna take f7. So pawn push again. Now can we just take? Can we take? That's a fork. So king moves. This is a check. If you don't want to go down a piece, the king has to take. And lo and behold, that's a check. And now that should be a pawn. King takes. And you go from up a pawn to now you lose all these pawns. And you're down 2 pawns. So some noobs kind of got lucky in that first game, right? Like, holy smokes, they blundered a rook. And then their opponent blundered a rook. Here, I'm not as enthusiastic about. What was so wrong with king taking h4? Somebody explain that one to me. Why do we not like pawns? So now pawn takes. No. Here. This is weird. Oh, that's a skewer. Wow. So hold up. Check. King back. And check. Wow. Okay. Was that better than what happened? Here. Takes. Yeah, that's a blunder. Wow. Okay. So white's playing some 5-head chess moves that I should give them credit for. Ooh. Let's check this one. Oh, Hakeem, what happened? Was Hakeem up a piece? Yeah, Hakeem was up a knight. What the heck happened, Hakeem? Where did your knight go, my friend? You grabbed the pawn. You sacked the knight for the 2 pawns? Why? Why would you do this? I mean, I guess you're still winning. Oh my god, you're no longer winning. What? 1 second. This is a draw. Wow, Hakeem, you messed it up. You should go h5 here. And then, like, infiltrate with the king. I don't know. Oh, Hakeem, that's unfortunate, buddy. You were up a knight. This is a huge, upset for Wilfred. He wants to flex his pawn in game. Uh, that's not how you do it. He might still win because 1 second. Oh my God, there's always a chance that black messes this up, but no, they repeat. Hakeem and Brian. So that's a half point for the board 3. That's a big upset. I believe Hakeem is streaming if you guys want to go check out his channel. I'm assuming it's the same as his chess.com username. Yeah, and some noobs with the checkmate. Nicely done from being down a pawn to just putting every single piece they had to attack f7 and winning material that way. So some noobs improving to 2. And that actually brings the match within 1. So Wilfred, after being down 2 in the first round, they are now only down 1. All right, third round underway. Oh, this player has started their game but is offline. A rare anomaly to see, but it happens, apparently. Here we got Some Noobs versus Dynasty Chess. Dynasty Chess is 2 for 2. Some Noobs is also 2 for 2. And their game has aborted, so for now they will stay at 2 for 2. We'll wait for them to start that one up again. Let's see. They've aborted a second time, but as they say, third time is the charm. Here we have Hakeem versus Star. Het Patel. And it looks like we've got something called the Banco Gambit. I'm not familiar with the Banco Gambit, but I've heard of it. And apparently this is what it is. And these players are flying, both of them having gained time from what they originally started with. The queen stepping up, developing. I feel like this rook on the f file has to move. Also, b3 seems natural. What's the biggest university rivalry in the Collegiate Chess League? Maybe. I mean, there's like Harvard, Yale, but they're in different divisions this year, which is unfortunate. There's UCLA and USC. They haven't had their top teams in the same division. Like, I don't know if they've ever had it because UCLA is just that much stronger than USC. But what's cool about those two schools is that they are pretty close in person. They could play in person, but also they both have fairly large chess clubs, and they have a lot of teams usually, and that leads to some significant overlap between the two teams and a lot of divisions. So like I think last season the UCLA B team was in the same division as the USC A team, and so they played, and then a lot of their lower rated teams also played against each other. So it's cool when two rival schools have multiple teams that all play each other. And thank you guys for the follows. I see Chess Club at University of Houston followed 6 minutes ago. That is cool. I will have to check out your channel and follow you. And maybe potentially add it to our sheet if we don't have it already. Top Damaskalov as well with the follow. Thank you. What are some other big rivalries in the Collegiate Chess League? I mean, isn't there like Ohio State and University of Michigan? I think they're also in different divisions. But that's a big one, right? I don't think they like each other that much. I'm thinking of like football rivalries, I guess. Okay, this is a nice move. This is taking advantage of the pin of the knight on the queen. This also opens up the bishop. So rook takes is one move that removes a defender. But for now, this is sufficiently defended. I think perhaps we should play here. But then maybe we lose the e-pawn in the long run. Penn State and Ohio State. we do have both of them. Some noobs with a fast win. What happened here? So some noobs opening up the center. This black king not castled. So after takes here, yeah, knight takes, queen takes. Taking here, getting the rook back here, and that's a free rook, and dynasty chess goes down. So their first loss of the match, and that puts some noobs at a flawless 3-for-3, tying the match up 4.5 to 4.5. What a good leader, leading by example, tying the team, and putting the rest in the hands of the teammates. Wilfrid Laurier University tying it up here in round 3 with 3 games left in this round. So all some noobs can do is cheer on their teammates from the sideline, saying I've done the best I can. So now here I expect queen takes b3 because you unpin their knight, which seems like a smart thing to do. And you're attacking the knight on d5. NIU is going to see WashU, Purdue, and Oberlin at USAT North tomorrow. Best of luck. That's exciting. I actually didn't realize US Amateur Team North was tomorrow. How many is all the US Amateur Team events tomorrow? Okay, here it seems to me that it looks like we're losing a piece. That's probably why queen takes b3 is best, is because you're losing c3, but I guess was there... No, I have no idea. How did queen takes b3 work? Queen takes, bishop takes, queen takes d5. Oh, because the problem with taking with the pawn is that our queens are still lined up. So this knight was pinned by the bishop, right? The knight was pinned. So if we had queen takes, knight takes, we could take the rook for free. The problem with this, why can't we take this rook right now? You might ask. Well, Hakim's a tricky player, and they saw this. They take with the knight because this queen is hanging. And the knight takes on e2 with something called check. So there's no time to take right now. What can happen is that we could take this with the bishop, but then black will probably go rook c8, saving the rook and pinning that bishop, and probably going to win that back. So yeah, that's a sequence right there, I believe. Yeah, bishop takes c3, there's rook c8. So yeah, nice moves from Hakim. Hakim also trying to lead his team. Let's check on the other games. We have Dynamic versus Brian Lawrence. So both sides with the dark square bishop. I would say white has some extra space, but black has the active rooks. And for the active rooks alone, I think black is slightly better. But I think that this is a very even position. This bishop on f4 is doing a great job of preventing these rooks from becoming pigs on the second. South was 4th to 6th. East starts tomorrow. West is also this weekend. Okay. Yeah, hopefully the teams were able to reschedule that needed to reschedule. Yeah, the best is for clubs to figure that out as soon as they can and to reach out to their opponents. So that is one of the benefits of playing in the league, is that you know the season's schedule from the get-go, from the very beginning. Okay, so what is going on in this one? We have bishop back, rook here. I'm not a fan of this move. I like rook takes d1, rook takes d1, and now bishop takes e3, pawn takes e3, and that completely ruins white's pawn structure. And we also get rook c2 at the end of that, so black is going to be up the exchange, not the up the pawn structure and up the activity. So I guess after rook c2, I don't know. But there's rook c1 check, king up, then rook c2, fork, but then white probably has rook d2 block, saving everything. So here, okay, rook c7, afraid of rook d7 from white. Let's see, the kings are stepping up. Yeah, king made it there, so there goes the e pawn. Rook g8 probably is a good move, is my assumption. But how long does it last? If that pawn pushes, then I don't know. Maybe h5. Trying to throw away another pawn. Probably black is just better. I mean, black is better right now. See, they're up a pawn. Up on time. Look at the clocks. My goodness. So starting with g4 check, and now here, saying I'm going to take that h pawn. But black has some counter activity with rook c3, attacking a3. So you might win that pawn back, but you're going to lose another one. And then both sides will try to create an outside pass pawn on the h and a files, respectively. So Brian just has this time advantage here. Okay, they're probably take on h6. Taking here first. Now we're attacking the g pawn. Oh, but now we play h5. Oh, no, you missed. Rook c4 check, king. Oh, pawn block, not good. Not good. Not good, my friend. That was a gift. So dynamic is actually 0 for 3 right now. So is Bobby Benoit. I'm going to keep guessing until Bobby himself tells me. But yeah, looks like Bobby's going to lose this one. Down a piece. Down the clock. Down more pawns. So Bobby should lose this. Dynamic should lose this. So Brian just won by resignation. That's their first win. So actually, that's Wilfred Laurier's first lead in the match. But I think that they're going to lose the lead as soon as Bobby here loses. But maybe they go for a stalemate. Maybe they get it. Or maybe they win all these pawns. Unlikely. It seems that white should be able to do well. What a trick. Wait, no, it doesn't even work because the king can take on h4. That's sneaky, though. It looks sneaky. Move the king up again. Chase that king. No, there goes the pawn. All right, so this king's going to work its way around in prime position for the checkmate. Yeah, we have resignation. Interesting choice, because if the king goes down, that could be mouse slipped. Like, you played on until this point. Why resign here? Just play one more move. Just play one more move. I don't know. Maybe they flag. Like, I'm just saying. I mean, that's actually the other opponent. But, okay. Point for Thiraj, and we're actually tied up at 5.5 apiece, which, by my calculation, I'm missing something. Some noobs won, they won, Brian won, I gave them the point, Hakeem won. I don't think I gave Hakeem the point. I think Hakeem won. Well, I know Hakeem won. I think that I missed their point, though. I believe they're at 2.5, and that gives Asia Pacific a 1-point lead going into the fourth and final round here. So I do have another matchup today, later. It is Sacred Heart versus University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee. I believe that is a Division 6 matchup. I'll be streaming that at 2 p.m. Pacific today. which after this match should be about 6 hours later. So I am going to end the stream after this. We're gonna raid someone. Like I said earlier, I hope Hakeem is still alive. We can raid Hakeem. So we'll see. Derek the Legend, hello. Is having one lesson with multiple chess coaches a good way to pick a chess coach? I mean, that makes sense to me, right? It's like, try them out. Try it before you buy it, although you're probably paying for it. But yeah, it's like you get one coach. You don't know. Like, if it's your first ever coach, how do you know if they're good or not? Like, I don't know. But yeah, I'm assuming like a lot of people, they'll probably stick to one coach for some time. And then once they get to like a certain rating, they'll switch coaches just as they progress. But yeah, I don't know. It also depends on your budget, of course. Like, if you don't have a budget, maybe you can't afford to try as many coaches as you like. Maybe you can't even afford a single coach. I never had a chess coach. Or I just taught myself through YouTube videos, I guess. I don't know. Okay, I like knight e5 as a strong move. This trades the light square bishops. Here we can take on d7. And now king takes, so the king is not castling. So yeah, queen f6 was kind of a weird move. I'm not gonna lie. So that king's gonna be in the middle of the board. Let's check in with the board twos. Dynasty versus Star. Star only with 1 point from Wilfred Laurier. I think so far the real difference, yeah, it's been on boards 2 and 3. That's where Asia Pacific's been getting their most points. Also, maybe we keep an eye on this bottom board. This is Bobby versus Jason. And neither of these players have gotten any points yet so far. So it looks like Bobby is doing well here. Ahead in development. Black has blocked their D pawn, which isn't great. I think. What do I think? I think white should play like knight c4. I like knight c4 a lot. Okay, this move also weakens the light squares, so like knight g6 now is an option. Attacking the rook. What is the prize for the winner? So this is the regular season of the Collegiate Chess League. Right now, they're playing for standings. So there's no prizes on the line for these matches, but these matches determine if your team makes it to playoffs or not. So each division has 16 teams. Each division has 2 groups of 8. So, okay, I would develop this bishop. Just bishop d2, connect the rooks, and allow for rook e1 to attack the queen. I wouldn't take this. That bishop was annoying. Or not, I don't know. I would have taken, I would have developed and then try to get the rooks out to distract the queen. Instead, we take and we develop our bishop with tempo, yes, but the queen hits our b2 pawn, and this frees up the d pawn, right? So this looks like it's a threat because it is. That's also a threat. I think that black should save this threat and just play here because they need to anyways to develop the bishop and give up on the h pawn because you can defend this with the rook. I think that should be the plan for black. They take this. Now we can take on h6, and this bishop has nowhere to go, right? These pawns haven't moved. We take here. Black is forced to defend, and then we bring a rook to the e file. And that's actually a really strong threat. Rook a to e1. The reason why you go with this rook instead of the f rook is because this rook cannot leave. I mean, you can give check, but you're going to have a1 hanging. So this was not as good. This is not as good. The other rook would have been much stronger. So here, that hangs that, but threatens the discovery. Fancy, fancy, fancy. So why not retreat this way? Oh, because bishop check is still coming. Well, there's this. So queen goes here attacking that. Sorry, so kiss me. We actually have a prizes command. I should have just started with that. If you guys want to check out the prizes, go check out that link. Once you make it to the playoffs, prizes are looking pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. Ooh, queen check is mate. Queen d8. Queen d8 is a big threat. That was missed. That's another reason why you should have gone here. So Bobby getting their first point. That ties up the match. 6.5 each. Jason has gone 0 for 4. So let's see if the top players can carry their fourth board teammate. How is Hakeem doing? So they traded queens, probably pawn takes, I would assume. I would assume so because I thought you'd lose this, but they push here instead. Probably take, but you got to watch out for the h file and the bishop. But what's great is that we can push this guy. So take, probably they take here. I don't know. But yeah, there's also like pawn push opens that up, but then maybe there's like a rook double or a rook lift. But yeah, pushing here first also seems smart. You're threatening check, so they don't have time for tricks. So they go here. The threat is to go here. That's very annoying. I am not going to lie about that. Not going to lie about that. However, the e-pawn is doubled, so that's okay to give this up, I guess. You're going to have to. Go here. Luckily, this is defended. So, okay, there's also rook f7 check first, and then this. So yeah, also, you know, it's like these schools, they're playing to win, right? You get some school pride. G3 is probably a strong move for black. I enjoyed the week 1 recap article. Uncle Butchie, I enjoy you. Appreciate that. That's very nice. I should have gotten that out earlier. I actually didn't even realize that it was released. So let me check on that. I should probably post that in the Discord then. Yeah, so expect that to be published from me earlier. I was late this week. But yeah, I'm planning on doing that every week. So let's see. Hakeem is getting some significant time pressure. Some noobs is taking it to Hakeem right now. 11 seconds, 10 seconds, 9, 12. Okay, trying to trade. That loses d4. Oh my goodness. Some noobs with a huge time pressure. Let's check in on the other players. They're all in time pressure. Dynasty chess, 20 seconds to 2 minutes. Star up a lot of material. That's going to be a point. So both these teams, they're 2 points away. But yeah, also, so Dynasty chess is going to lose this. Star is going to win this. Oh, yeah, we would not expect that. We would expect bishop take. So what a sneaky little trade there. So Star improving to 2 out of 4. Wilfred Laurier only needs 1 point to win the match. And looks like they're the favorite on all the boards. Asia Pacific, they started off strong 3-1 in the first round, 2 seconds from Hakeem. Let's see, that pawn's a gunner, but then the rook's a gunner. So actually, rook takes, pawn takes, rook here. The king is going to come corral this pawn. So, got to take this. Oh, wait, what? Rook takes? Why? Oh my goodness, Hakeem now back to life. A rook sacrifice from some noobs. Trying to flag the opponent perhaps. I don't know, but that was a terrible decision. Maybe thinking that they had already moved the king over. But my goodness, this is actually giving Asia Pacific some hope, some life. And I don't know if these teams have any penalty points. That's going to be a factor now. Oh my goodness. Some noobs. That's not good. That's not how you close out the win here. Luckily for some noobs, their teammate Brian Lawrence just won. So that should clinch the match. 8.5 to 7.5. Hakeem just won by resignation. But yeah, I don't know if there's any penalty points, but assuming all is well and both teams submitted their lineups in time, Wilfred Laurier wins this one by a slim margin, 8.5 to 7.5. That's actually as close as it's gonna get. I'm a little disappointed in some noobs, not gonna lie. They could have went 4 for 4. They took the pawn there for some reason. I don't know. But that cost them the game, so they lost this one. But their team still won, so that's all that matters, I guess. Although I will say those board points, that's the tiebreaker in the standings, so that could be important later. But nonetheless, that was a really close match, really good game from these two teams. And that's it for me today. So I appreciate everyone being here. I hope you all have a great rest of your day. It's the start.